Hello VR fans, my name's Keller and I'm here from Electric Night Owl. I want to start off by saying thank you guys so much for all of your suggestions and input on the ArmSwinger RC1 build that we released last week. It is really cool to see you as a community be as excited about this concept as I am, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what ArmSwinger does here in the next couple weeks as we move close to a release. So keep those comments coming, keep your input coming, and we'll continue to build based on that absolutely. Now, all the features that you see today and the bug fixes that are in RC2, the build that we're releasing today, are a direct result of your input and your suggestions. So I've got some new features to show you. I've got some new functionality to show you. Let me get my headset on and let's go over what's new. So the first most visible change is the wall of settings. So I had quite a few people who wanted to make changes to how ArmSwinger acted. A lot of those things were already possible using the Unity Inspector, but since you don't have access to that, you couldn't make those changes. Well, we put a lot of those changes here on the wall of settings, allowing you to make some of the more major tweaks to ArmSwinger in order to make it feel how you want it to. So feel free to come here and play with these settings as much as you want. You can always hit reset to defaults at bottom if you get it to a point where it needs that. And it is free to mess with at will. I will say this is not all the settings by any means. In the inspector, you have full control over ArmSwinger from top to bottom. This is at least a taste of those different settings that you'll have access to. So wanted to go over real quick the new settings and kind of explain everything on the wall. We'll do it as quickly as possible. Let me give you a look at that. So the first big new setting is nonlinear movement curves. So one thing that several people said that they were having trouble with was slower speed movements, so that they felt like it moved too quickly when they moved slowly. So like if you see now, if I move my controller slowly, I'm still moving quite a bit when I do that. Okay, what the nonlinear movement curve does is it makes it so that at slower speeds, you will move slower in the virtual world for your given controller movement, and at higher speeds you'll still be able to reach high speed. So if I make that same movement now, you'll see I move quite a bit less, but I still have no problem going full speed. Now that curve here is just a toggle, but in Unity itself, it's a normal animation curve that you can put keyframes in and make however you want. I'm not sure the curve I've got implemented here is the best one. In fact, I'm almost for sure that it's not. So I'm excited to get you guys in it and let you play around with it and figure out what curve works best for you here when we release here in a couple weeks. Next new feature is max speed. That went along with the nonlinear movement curve. So this gives you the ability to speed up your movement as you move your hands. These multipliers are also very cool too. This allows you to penalize or buff the player's movement based on if they're using one controller or two, which is now a possibility due to the swing modes. We'll talk about those in a second. So if you're using two controllers right now, we don't make any change to the to the speed. If you use a single controller to move, we penalize you by 30%. So these are tweakable. You can do what you like with those. That's pretty cool. The big new feature is swing modes. Had a lot of people talking about how they liked how ArmSwinger felt, but they didn't like not being able to use your hands for something else. It really took that to heart and gave you some great options to be able to do that. Previously, we were detecting whether a controller was in use based on the trigger. We tossed that system out. It wasn't working. Instead, we now give you options. So this first option is the one that was default in the previous demo, but the one that I like and the one that's default in the RC2 demo is you activate with either or both grips and you control with the gripped controllers. So that means that instead of trying to guess which controller is in use, I don't have to guess. I let the player tell me which controller should be used for walking. So whichever controller I grip is used for walking, both for speed and for direction. So if I just grip the right controller, I can move without a problem. This one doesn't do anything. My left one doesn't do anything. If I want to do the left controller, I can do the exact same thing. Okay, and if I want to go both controllers, I can move normally just like this. So, and quick shortcut, if you want to get back to the wall settings at any time, push the menu button. It'll take you right back here. Okay, so play around with those different modes, see which one works for you. Another very requested feature was inertia, is that people didn't like the pause while you're walking. So you'll notice if I walk right now, every time my hands reach their apex, I actually stop. My speed goes all the way to 0. And a lot of people found that to be distracting and immersion breaking. So I've implemented some inertia that I think fixes that. Now, none of this is done in physics. It's all done as a part of ArmSwinger's library and math. So it's a linear slow. But you can turn on and off inertia both for moving and stopping. So moving is going to stop that pause while you're moving across the space. And then stopping inertia, I'll show you too. So let me just turn these both on real quick. And you'll see now, if I'm moving, there's no more brake there. I continue to move smoothly. Okay, so that's moving inertia. Now, stopping inertia is what happens when I let go of my controllers. So previously, when I let go of my controllers, I just stopped dead wherever I let go. Now you actually continue moving for a short moment to simulate your momentum, your inertia. So you'll notice if I let go of my controllers now, I actually continue moving for a short time. So the settings I've got in here right now are pretty conservative. I don't want to make anyone sick. You are welcome to mess with the amount as much as you want and make yourself sick to your heart's content if you like, or adjust it to what feels good to you. Vertical smoothing changes the smoothing of the height adjustment of the play space as you move. 3 is something that's worked well for me. Feel free to play with it as well. You can change the max and max climbing and falling angles, pretty self-explanatory. I have prevent wall walking toggle here, and it's because we changed how wall walking works. So previously there was an angle set for climbing, for falling, and for wall walking, and it was causing issues where when you go down a ramp, if you didn't go straight down, if you went at like an angle, it would sometimes reset you for wall walking on that. Well, now there isn't an individual angle for wall walking. Instead, if you are trying to wall walk up, I use the climbing angle. And if you're trying to wall walk down, we use the falling angle. So I think we fixed that. I would be really curious to see if anybody can try and get a wall walk reset, just trying to do something normal. Would be interested in that. But I feel like that's getting pretty close to bulletproof, which I'm excited about. The last big new feature is this only height adjust while arm swinging. This is something that several people suggested, is that they were having trouble with feeling sick when they were physically moving around their play space, and it was height adjusting for them. Now, if I'm arm swinging, then the height adjustment works just like it always does. So I can arm swing right up this ramp without a problem. The difference comes when I make a physical move. So if I put my play space partially on this hill, I can move around here, but if I walk over towards this hill, you'll see that my play space doesn't actually come up to meet me. This is purely a comfort thing. I wanted to have this as an option in case somebody doesn't like that movement as it moves. I totally get that. Now, one thing that we ran into almost immediately is that if I click both my hands right now to arm swing, I really should be about 2.5 feet higher than I'm standing right now. And it was a really jarring move to pop me right up into that position. So if you just have a little bit of change like here and you pop, it'll just snap you to where you need to be, no problem. But if you're in a spot that requires a bigger change, instead of popping you into position, it'll actually do a rewind. Now, it won't get you far from where you were. It'll keep you close by, but that way you know that you're starting from a safe arm swinging spot. So this is the new wall. These are the new settings. The new ones are marked. Please test them out. Tell me what's broken. Tell me what you like, what you don't. I'm all about adding more options if we can. And so very excited to get your feedback either on Reddit, via Twitter, or here in the YouTube comments. Looking to release out onto both GitHub and the Unity Asset Store here in the next week or two. All of our bugs are squashed at the moment, which I'm sure you'll give me a few more, but we are getting really close to having this ready to release. So there will be a simultaneous release on the Unity Asset Store, as well as on GitHub under the open source MIT license. And I want to make sure that it is ready to go at that time. So please give me your feedback. Give me any bugs you find. Looking forward to hearing from you soon, and looking forward to getting ArmSwinger out to you here in the next couple of weeks. Thanks so much for your time. Have a great day. Bye-bye.